Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you every algorithm for 2x2 CLL, which stands for corners of the last layer, and it is basically if you have any last layer case that has the first layer with the right corners in place, then you can do CLL solving a cube. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the first three anti-student cases, so for the first one, the way you recognize it is that these two are opposite, and these two are opposite. But if you don't want to recognize it like that, you can also recognize that these two are opposite, and this one is adjacent to those. And the way you execute it is just a normal anti-student, so you hold it right here and do it anti-student. Now for the next one, you recognize it by these two being the same and these two being opposite, or by these two being the same and this one being adjacent. And the way you recognize it, or the way you execute it, is you do a U prime, and then from this angle you do an R, U2, R prime, F, R prime, F prime, and then R, U prime, and then you insert it. So going over that again, faster, it will look like this. And then for the last one of these three, you recognize it by these two being the same and this one being opposite, or, well, yeah, that's basically the only way to recognize this one. And you go to the front, you do U, and then you do F prime, L prime, F, L prime to take out this, and then you do a U2, forgive me, this is a Rubik's brand, and then you do an L prime, and then U2, L, and that solves it. Okay, so for the next 6 in the anti-student category, we have this one. So the way you recognize this one is that these two are the same, but this one is opposite in the middle. And the way you execute it is basically by just doing sledge. Wait, no, sorry. It's by doing a U, and then you do a sledge, and then insert like that. So again, R, R prime, F, R, F prime, R, U, R prime. And that solves it. For the next one, you recognize it by, well, you could just recognize it by everything being opposite, but being two patterns like opposite, and then in the middle there's also opposites. Or you could just recognize these two being opposite and this one being adjacent. And the way you would execute this is by doing a U, and then doing an R, U2, R prime, U2, sledge. So again, faster look like this. Or no, wait, sorry, like that. Okay, for the last algorithm, you would recognize it by, you could either recognize it by there being an opposite pattern in the middle and these two being the same, or you could recognize it by there being these two being the same and this one being adjacent. And the way you recognize, you execute it is you actually do a U2 from this position, and then you do R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, F, R, R prime, F prime, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime. And And yeah, that's basically it for the anti-soon case. Okay, so now I want to do the soon cases. So for the first three, let's move on. So for the first one, you recognize it. I guess you can recognize it by looking here and seeing that these two are opposite. These two are opposite, or these two are opposite, and this one is adjacent. And the way you execute it is L prime U2, L U2, and opposite sledge. So it's like the inverse of the anti-soon case we just did. That was like, wait, whatever. I can't show it to you, but I know which one was. So anyway, for this one, you recognize it from these two being the same, and these two being opposite, or these two being the same, and this one being adjacent. And you execute it by starting to do soon, but R, U, R prime, U. Oh wait, no, sorry. Okay, so by doing the sexy sledge, hammer, and then a soon. So in other words, sexy sledge, soon. Yep, that's how you do it. It's a pretty easy case, actually. Okay, so for this one, you recognize it from being kind of an opposite pattern here. These two are the same. This one is opposite. And from here you do R, U prime, R prime, F, R prime, F prime, R. So yeah, just like remember that one because it's pretty easy. Okay, so for the next three soon cases, these are them. So let's see, for the first one, we can recognize it from these two being the same and this one being opposite. It's kind of the same as that anti-soon case. That was the mirror, basically. And basically what you do is you do a sledge to take this out, U2, R, U2, R prime. For the next one, you can recognize it from these two being the same and this one being adjacent, or these two being the same and these two being opposite. And the way you execute it is by doing a U2 and then doing an R, U, R prime, U, sledge, R, U2, R prime. So the way to remember this algorithm is basically you're starting a soon, and then right in the middle of it you do sledge, and then you end the soon. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Okay, so for the sixth one, we all know this one. So basically, these two are opposite, these two are opposite. Just like the anti-soon, that's the same. It's just the regular algorithm. Or you could recognize that these two are opposite and this one is adjacent. So you just do the regular algorithm, just like the anti-soon one. Okay, so for the H cases, basically, you probably know the drill. I mean, like, you recognize the O by having a bar here and a bar here. That's how you recognize H cases, in case you didn't know. I probably should have included that for the other cases, but anyway, the way you recognize this one is there's a big bar in the front or in the back, but if it's in the back, just put it in the front, and then do an F, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U, R2, F prime. It's pretty easy to remember, and it's also the inverse of another case we'll talk about later, which is the pi case. And for this one, there's a vertical bar right here, These two are opposite, but you don't need to worry about that. So you hold the bar on the right, and you do the algorithm R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F, R prime, F prime, R. It's pretty fast. And then for this one, you recognize it by there being two vertical opposite bars here. And you do a U, and then you do F, and then you either do a triple sexy or a triple inverse sexy. So I prefer doing the inverse sexies because on regular cubes they're faster, but just because I was a Rubik's brand, I did the regular sexy. But like, if you do the inverse sexy, it's pretty fast. Okay, so for the last case, pretty standard. It's just the regular algorithm, and the bars are horizontal instead of vertical. So you hold it, you do U, and then you do R2, U2, R, U2, R2. That solves it. Okay, so for the first 3 pi cases, for this one, you recognize it by these being the same and these being opposite. It's the opposite of this one, which is where these are the same and these are opposite. Oh yeah, and the OL is recognized by this bar and these two on either side. And the algorithm you do is you do U or Y, and you do a sledge to get this out, and then you do U2, and then you do that trigger that's like R, U prime, R prime, U, and then you do R, U2, R prime. It's pretty fast. For this one, you recognize it by being the opposite of the other one. These two are the same, and these two are opposite. And you do the algorithm R, U2, R prime, U, U prime, R, U, R prime, U2, sledge insert. For this one, this is the inverse of the H case. That's like, wait, that's like this. So instead of doing U prime, U prime, U with every U move, instead, once you get it at this angle, well, first you do U, then you do F, and then you do R2, U prime, R2, U, R2, U, R2, F prime, if that makes sense. Okay, so these are the next 3 pi CLLs. So for this one, it's easy to recognize. It's the only one with 2 bars like this. And so you recognize these 2 opposite bars. And then for this one, you do a U2 or Y2 or whatever you do. And then you do R prime, F, R, F prime, which I think is a sledgehammer. And then R, U prime, R prime, U prime, and then insert. So yeah, it's like sledge to take it out, and you kind of do an anti-soon continuation, I guess. It's pretty easy. Anyway, for this one, I think it's also a pretty easy algorithm. Yeah, so you do a U prime, and then you do R, U, R prime, F, R, F prime, and then you do R, U prime, R prime, U2, R. It's pretty simple. And then for this one, this is just the regular algorithm. Most people do something like R, U2, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U2, R. But actually, I guess I shouldn't do it on this one. But like, what I do is R prime, U2, R2, U, R2, U, R2, U2, R prime. And that's also what Chuan Yigong uses for that OL or that ZBLL specifically. So yeah, I think you should probably switch to that one, like if it works for you. But if it doesn't, then it's fine. Anyway, let's go to the next set. Okay, so for the first 3 algorithms for TCLL, first we have this one, and basically, let me think of a way to recognize this. I think these two are the same, and this one is opposite to these ones, I guess. I don't really have much experience with this algorithm set, but yeah, I think this is just a regular algorithm, so it's just like that, yeah. So it's like R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. It's pretty easy. And then for this one, you can recognize it by like these ones matching, this one being opposite to them, I guess. I don't think that's in any of the other ones. Anyway, and then you actually do U2 from this position, and then you do the inverse of the other one, I think. L prime, U prime, L, U, and then lefty sledge insert. So yeah, it's like that. And then for this one, okay, so for this one you do a U, so the bar is at the front, and then you do F, U prime, R, U2, R prime, U prime, F2, R, U, R prime. That's pretty easy as well. And I think the way you recognize it for this one is that these two are opposites and these two are opposites, and that there's a block here. So yeah, you just do that, I think. Alright, so for the next 3, we have this one. So the way you recognize it is from this angle you see there's 2 opposite bars here, and from this angle you see there's a bar here and 2 opposites here. I don't think you have to recognize all of that, but that's definitely a way to recognize it. And the algorithm for it, first you do a U, and then you do R prime, U, R, U2, R2, F prime, R, U prime, R prime, F2, R2, which is a pretty easy algorithm. And for this one, you can recognize there's a bar here and opposites here, and it's the same on the back, really. So, the way you execute it is you do U prime, so that this part is facing you, and then you do F, R, oh wait, F sexy, and then that, like R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. So that's pretty easy. Did that work? No. Okay. Whatever, it's pretty fast. So, and then for this one, you do a U, so this block is facing you. Oh yeah, and the way you recognize it is that these two are opposite and these two are the same. It's a block, and it's the same on the front. So, anyway, so from this angle, you do R prime, U, R, U2, R2, F, R, F prime, R. And yeah, that's it for TCL. So let's move on to U. Okay, so for the first three UCLs, we have this one, which is easy to recognize because there's like a big block here that's right. And then there's two opposites here. So you just do F, sexy, F prime. And you have this one where these two match, these two are opposite, this is the same, so there's a big block here instead. And the way you execute this one is you do U, and then you do R prime, U prime, R2, U, R, U2, R, U2, R, U, R prime. And then for this one, we have a big block here and a big block here. And the way you execute this one is you do U prime from this angle, you do an F, R, U, R prime, Q2, F prime, and then you do R, U prime, R prime, F. So it's an interesting one. Alright, so these are the next three, so let's start with this one. For this one, you can recognize it by having kind of an H perm pattern here. These two being opposite, and these two being opposites, and these two being opposites, and these two being opposites, and they're kind of opposite from each other. And, or you could recognize it as kind of like a Y perm on 2x2, I guess. And the way you execute it, you do an F, R prime, F prime, R, U prime, R, U prime, R, U2, and then insert with R, U, R prime. And for this one, it's kind of harder to recognize, but basically these are the same and these are the same. And the way you execute it is by doing R, wait, no, actually first you do U, you do R, U prime, R2, F, R, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. And then for this one, you can recognize it from these being the same and these being the same. And you can do, well, first you have to do a U, so this block is in the front, and then you have to do R prime, U, R prime, F, R, F prime, R, U2, R, U, R. Okay, so for the next, for the first three LCLs, let's get into it. So for the first one right here, well, first of all, you can see that, well, and also I know from practice that these are the only two ones that have the same two colors on the top other than white. And for this one, you do the algorithm R, U2, R prime, F prime, R, U2, R prime, U, R prime, F2, R. That's pretty easy. Of course, the way you recognize it is that this one has these two opposites, and this one has these two opposites and these two adjacent. So if you're just looking here, then if it's these two opposites or adjacent, then it's this one. It's these two opposite, then it's this one. And for this one, you do a U, and then you do R, U2, R2, F2, RU, R prime, F2, R, F prime. And then for this one, you recognize it because these two are opposites and these two are opposites. And so you do U, and then you do R prime, U, R prime, U2, R, U prime, R prime, U, R2. Okay, so for the last three ones, this one is very easy to recognize. So these two are the same and these two are the same, and there's like an opposite, adjacent pattern here. So, the way you execute this is you do R, U2, R2, F, R, F prime, R, U2, R prime. And for this one, you execute it by doing F, R prime, F, R, U, R, U, U prime, R prime. So that's just like the standard algorithm. Just do it like that. And then for the last one, you do a U, and then you, oh yeah, I forgot to say, so for this one, you recognize it from these being opposites and these being the same. And from this one, it's these being opposites and these being the same. So for this one, you do a U, and then you do F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R. And that's pretty much the end of the CLL tutorial. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you liked this. Tell me in the comments if you think I should make more tutorials like this.